Hello and welcome to JForrest English Training. I'm Jennifer, and in this lesson, you're going to learn how to understand every single word when you read online. When you're reading newspaper articles, blog posts, or even assignments from your school or university, like this complicated news article. You'll learn how to understand every single word, including the definition, the meaning, the grammatical structure, and even pronunciation. Plus, you'll learn how to permanently remember your new information. And this method is easy to use, it's fun, and it's free. Let's get started. Welcome to our article. So let's review this article in detail, and I'll explain what this article means and some of the most advanced vocabulary and grammar structures. Now, there might be words that I don't explain and you don't understand what they are. Don't worry, because I'm also going to show you how to understand every single word in this article. So let's get started with the title. ChatGPT assisted diagnosis. Is the future suddenly here? This is a very interesting article. I'm not sure if you've heard of ChatGPT. It's an artificial intelligence that chatbots are using. So notice in this context, we have the word diagnosis. Diagnosis is a noun, and it's a judgment about what a particular illness or problem is made after examining it. So you go to the doctor, you tell them what's wrong, your symptoms, and then the doctor will make a diagnosis. They'll examine you and then say, I think you have X, and that's the diagnosis. Here's an example sentence. What's the diagnosis? You could ask your doctor this, or a family member could ask you, what's the diagnosis? So diagnosis is a noun. Now notice, chat-assisted diagnosis. This is an adjective. It describes what type of diagnosis it is. So it's a diagnosis that was made by ChatGPT. It was not made by a doctor. It was made by ChatGPT, which is an artificial intelligence, hence the image you see here. Is the future suddenly here? Because obviously having artificial intelligence rather than doctors diagnose medical problems is a futuristic scenario. So this is a very interesting article. Let's continue on. The notion that people will regularly use computers to diagnose their own illnesses has been discussed for decades. Here, the notion is another way of simply saying idea. The idea that people, and here, will regularly use computers. Computers in this sense is the ChatGPT artificial intelligence to diagnose. What do you notice about this compared to what I just taught you about the word diagnosis? Diagnosis, and here we have to diagnose. Well, it has the exact same meaning, but it's just grammatically a verb. To diagnose, same meaning, to identify an illness or health problem. As an example sentence, has the doctor diagnosed? This is our verb and is conjugated in the past simple. Diagnosed what? You diagnose a problem. Has the doctor diagnosed the problem yet? Now, if we were to change that to our noun, you would change the sentence structure a little bit and you would say, has the doctor made her diagnosis yet? So you make a diagnosis. Make is the verb, which is in the past simple, and diagnosis is the noun. Exact same meaning, just different sentence structure. So the idea, the notion that people will regularly use computers to diagnose, to identify a health problem. and in this case, illness, to diagnose their own illnesses has been discussed for decades. So here, to be discussed, discuss simply means to talk about or consider. Let's continue on. Of course, millions of people try to do that today. In this case, that means diagnosing their own illnesses. I'm sure you've tried to do that, right? Consulting Dr. Google. So you might have a fever and a sore throat. So you type in Google to try to diagnose, to try to understand what's wrong with you. It's just Dr. Google, referring to Google as a doctor, which is kind of a joke here. But people use Google as their doctor, right? Though often with little success, meaning they try to go online to use Dr. Google to diagnose their illness, but it isn't successful. That's with little success. Let's continue on. Given the low quality of many online health sources, such searches may even be harmful. So you might Google sore throat and a fever, and it takes you to a website, a health source, a source that gives you the information, but it's low quality. So it isn't very reliable. And because of that, you could get the wrong diagnosis, and that could be harmful. When something is harmful, it causes harm. Let's continue on. Some governments have even launched "Don't Google It" campaigns to urge people not to use the internet for health concerns. So let's take a look here. Some governments have launched. Even is just a modifier. Our verb is launch, and the verb is conjugated in the present perfect. And when you launch something, it simply means that you start something new, and that something you start is usually a plan or project. So in this case, they're launching a "Don't Google It" campaign, which is just an initiative to get you to not Google your health problems so you don't self-diagnose incorrectly. Now, at this point in our article, I'm sure there are already some words that you don't understand that I haven't taught you. And of course, I can't teach you every single word because this video would be 3 hours long. But I want to show you a very easy way that you can understand every single word of this article, including the grammar, the sentence structure, and the pronunciation as well. And you can do that with a new language learning app called Linguistic. Linguistic is an amazing language learning app that uses artificial intelligence to help you effectively learn from real-world content, such as news articles, blog posts, or even assignments from your school or university. Here we are on the Linguistic platform. Now you can find an interesting article to read in the Discover tab, or you can click Read New, and you can import any article online using a URL, or you can import a text document saved to your computer. Here's the article we're reading right now. You can click on any sentence and Linguistic will share the full breakdown of that sentence. Here's the sentence we're reviewing right now, so let's click on this. As you can see, Linguistic shows you the definition of every word and even the grammatical structure of that word. You can also click the full sentence at the top to hear the pronunciation.
Some governments have even launched "Don't Google It" campaigns to urge people not to use the internet for health concerns.
Now, we were just talking about launched, so let's click on this word to see more information. You can see the definition, the grammatical information, and even example sentences using the word in context. One awesome feature is that you can create flashcards for your new vocabulary. Simply click on the word, and click Save. You can choose which definition of the word you want to add to your flashcard. In our article, the definition of launch was to start a program or feature. And then you can click Next. You can choose which example sentence you want added to your flashcard, or you can even write your own. Let's use the example Linguistic provided and click Next. And that's it. Now you have your flashcard. And then you can click the lightning bolt, the flash of lightning in the top right to review your flashcards. And Linguistic uses a spaced repetition algorithm to determine how frequently you should practice this word. This helps maximize long-term memory and retention. If you've ever used Quizlet, it's like that, but smarter. I know you'll love using Linguistic to help you read online. And the best part, Linguistic is offering you a free account because you're a viewer of JForrest English Training. Linguistic is offering you a free account during their private beta launch. The link to create your free account is in the description of this video, or you can look in the first comment pinned below this video. To create your account, simply enter your information and then click Start Subscription. It's 100% free during the beta launch. You don't need to enter any payment details or credit card information. And if you have any questions about Linguistic, you can click this question mark in the top right and get support directly from the Linguistic team. So hit pause on this video and go create your free Linguistic account right now. So let's continue on with our article. I won't explain too many more words because I want you to go try Linguistic and use the platform to learn new vocabulary and let me know how you like it. But let's continue on. But the internet may suddenly become a lot more helpful for people who want to determine what is wrong with them, for people who want to diagnose their own illnesses. And how? Well, remember with ChatGPT, this new artificial intelligence chatbot, and it has the potential to be a game changer, This is a really great expression you can look up on Linguistic and create a flashcard for. A game changer is something, in this case, the artificial intelligence, that has a big effect or influence. So obviously, if we no longer go to doctors for diagnosis and we can use artificial intelligence, that will be a game changer. That will have a big effect or influence. So I definitely recommend you add this to your flashcards in Linguistic. Let's continue on. ChatGPT is not the first innovation in this space. Over the last decade, symptom checkers have emerged on websites and in smartphone apps to aid people searching for health information. A symptom checker is just a platform where you can check to verify your symptoms. So you can enter some information about yourself, how you're feeling, and it will tell you what's wrong with you. So if you have a certain temperature, it will tell you if that is too high, if you have a bad fever or not. Symptom checkers serve two main functions. They facilitate self-diagnosis and assist with self-triage. Facilitate is a formal verb. You'll see it a lot in academic writing, and it means to make something possible or easier. So it's saying these symptom checkers make self-diagnosis easier, or they simply make it possible. So that's one of the main functions. The other function is to assist. You could also use facilitate to facilitate self-triage or to assist with self-triage. They typically provide the user with a list of potential diagnoses. This is the plural of diagnosis. The doctor provided one diagnosis. The doctor provided two diagnoses. Notice the pronunciation, diagnoses. diagnoses. Remember, Linguistic will share the pronunciation, and even when you're doing flashcards, you'll get to review the pronunciation as well, which is very helpful. So here, diagnoses is the plural of diagnosis, and a recommendation of how quickly they should seek care, like see a doctor right now versus, that's what this VS stands for, versus or compared to. See a doctor right now or compared to treat this at home. So obviously see a doctor right now is very severe, and that's what the symptom checkers will do. They'll review your symptoms and then say, you need to go to a doctor. Or they'll say, you can treat this at home, which means it's not very severe. So this article is quite a bit longer. So what you can do is you can go onto Linguistic, create your free account, and you can review the rest of this article, learn as many words as you need to understand it, and then create some flashcards as well. So what I'll do now is I'll read the article from start to finish so you can follow along with my pronunciation. So let's do that now. ChatGPT assisted diagnosis. Is the future suddenly here? The notion that people will regularly use computers to diagnose their own illnesses has been discussed for decades. Of course, millions of people try to do that today, consulting Dr. Google, though often with little success. Given the low quality of many online health sources, such searches may even be harmful. Some governments have even launched "Don't Google It" campaigns to urge people not to use the internet for health concerns. But the internet may suddenly become a lot more helpful for people who want to determine what is wrong with them. ChatGPT, a new artificial intelligence chatbot, has the potential to be a game changer with medical diagnosis. ChatGPT is not the first innovation in this space. Over the last decade, symptom checkers have emerged on websites and in smartphone apps to aid people searching for health information. Symptom checkers serve two main functions. They facilitate self-diagnosis and assist with self-triage. They typically provide the user with a list of potential diagnoses and a recommendation of how quickly they should seek care, like see a doctor right now versus you can treat this at home.
Amazing job with this lesson. Now, I'm sure there are other words you didn't understand as we were reviewing the article, so go create your free Linguistic account. You can find the link to create your free Linguistic account in the description of this video. I've also shared the link in the first comment of this video as well. So click that link, create your free account. No credit card is required, no payment details are required at all, and you can start reviewing your first article on Linguistic. So go create your account now, and I'll see you in the next one.